Hey guys, I am recording my quick little review video of the art supplies I got. And yeah, I tried out a plethora of the stuff. I don't have it all in front of me. I mean, I have the things that I did in front of me, but I don't have all the supplies in front of me. But first, I'm going to show you how the Leuchtturm1917 sketchbook is going. I'm really happy with it so far. I'm just gonna say that to start. And I put some of my little stickers on here. Got dumpster, and then I totally forget the names of these two, even though they're mine. And then I put this little guy on back. These aren't like done on sticker paper even. These are done on like label paper that you print from. So that's why they don't look too great. I was out of sticker paper. So the first page I did, it was just me testing out some of the things. First, I tried the Safari fountain pen, and I was so happy to say it does not feather on this paper. I was really worried about that. I've seen that it feathers really bad on the Canson like multimedia paper, so I was really worried it would feather just because this is sketchbook paper, and I just wasn't sure how it was gonna go, but it did not feather. Next, first let me start, I was testing out my erasers, but let me start by saying all of these are very difficult to erase pencils, and that's why I was trying it. This is just normal mechanical pencil, and that's why it erased really well. And these, let's see, this is the colored lead. Oh, I don't have it, but it's just a colored lead mechanical pencil. These are the Color Race, the red. This is Sadie, my woodless graphite Prismacolor pencils, and this is the Fabre-Castell 9000 series. So this is specifically meant to be able to use under watercolor and everything, so it bonds to the paper really well, which is why it did not erase that well. And then the rest, the colored pencils, they always erase. Like, they're really difficult to erase and everything. But the ones where they're single stroke was me testing out the Faber-Castell dust-free eraser. I will say, if you look at all the ones where I use that, it drags graphite really badly. It erases better though than my other erasers. So if you're erasing like the entire page or like a huge chunk of area from a sketch or something, it's fantastic because you're erasing anything it smears anyways, and it actually erases well. So I'm not butthurt about that. It's just if you're erasing one line through a chunk of stuff like this, it's not good. The ones with the double lines were my Tombow Mono Zero Elastomer erasers, and there's the rectangular one and there's the little round one. Those don't erase as well as the Faber-Castell, but they don't drag the stuff, and it does do fine details. Like the mechanical pencil, they worked great. But these, like I said, these are all difficult to erase things, and you can see they had trouble. So if you're erasing a mechanical pencil just over a sketch and you want to do fine details, they still work really well. So I was happy with that. Here, I was just testing out things I already owned so that I could see how well they bled or didn't bleed. And I'm so happy to say that only the Copic marker bled. You can sort of see a little of the Sharpie, which I'd never draw with. I don't know why I tested it even. But those are the only things that I can't use if I want to use both sides of the paper. And I'm so happy about that because my current sketchbook, I can only draw on one side of the paper no matter what I use. So I was so happy about that. And then here, I drew all of this with my fountain pen, except for the blue and the smoke over here I did with just Prismacolor. And I was just, again, testing to see if it feathered or bled really badly, and it didn't. It did great. I also tested out some of my Uniball Signo white gel pen. This is what I always use, so I already knew how they worked, but I wanted to, I don't know, use it for the review video since I showed it in my art haul. And the only complaint is that it turns a little yellow when it dries on this paper, so you can kind of see it stand out color-wise, but it went over the, I forgot to tell you what fountain pen I was using. The Lamby Safari fountain pen, it went over it really well. And that's using the platinum carbon ink, which is waterproof. So those are what I use to do this. And then again, to retest the ability to use both sides of the paper, I did this right on the other side, and there's no bleed through at all. And I'm so happy about that. This is a little character I designed for my friend. She just aced her final exams. She's in school to become a nurse. So I wanted to make her a little like nurse anime fighter girl. And her initial design is in my other sketchbook, which will be in my next sketchbook tour. But I wanted to draw her again because that was sort of like a side view in the other one. So I wanted to do a front-facing view. And it's not that great. I still have shaky hands with the fountain pen. I don't have as much control as I do with the microns because the tip of the microns is stiffer and it's much closer to your fingers where you hold the pen. And that's not a complaint about the fountain pen. I just have to get used to it. You can also see where I did whiteout over some issues. You can see more here how it yellows a little. But I still love them and it has great coverage, which is why I use them. So yeah, that's making sure I don't have anything in my pocket here that I need to show you guys. I do, okay. Yeah, that's the Leuchtturm1917, and this is the A4. So that turned out great. It's definitely like my new go-to sketchbook brand. And then these are the erasers I tried out in there. And the pen and gel pen and the ink. I tried out all of those in there. Next, I tried the Paul Rubens. This is the like postcard size, just travel sketchbook. So this isn't where it's glued on all sides. It's just the one side, but with the watercolor paper. I think it's 300 GSM. And the practice art that I did in here, it's not like super great. It was really quick and scribbly. I did it while watching TV with my mom. And, but it was just to test out the paper, see if anything bled through. And mainly it was to see if the platinum carbon ink with my fountain pen was actually waterproof. Because I did watercolors and colored pencil in here. And I don't normally use ink with my watercolors because I don't like black mixed in with my really colorful stuff. But again, I just wanted to prove to myself and anyone watching these that it was waterproof, because I've seen mixed reviews. Like some people be like, oh, it's not waterproof at all, but they just didn't wait long enough or they had the wrong type of paper, etc. So I wanted to try for myself. So I did this. Again, it's not like compositionally like set up well or nicely done or anything like that. I was just scribbling about. I laid down some block colors with my watercolors, and then I did the ink first, which I covered with watercolors in most of the places. Sorry, my hands shake really badly. So you can't actually see that it's on there and that it's waterproof. You can see little bits down here. It didn't bleed at all. No color was pulled up by the watercolor at all. I was so happy about that. So I did the ink first, and then I did some watercolors, and then I went over everything with colored pencil. And yeah, it's not, again, wasn't for a great art piece. It was just to test things out. And then none of it went through at all, so I can use both sides if I want. If it's something staying in the sketchbook and I don't plan on framing ever, I could do both sides. And yeah, the watercolor paper was nice and smooth. It only warped a little because it's not glued on each side. And that was fine. It wasn't bad to work with. And I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to using this more and better. So I did that. And again, the ink was completely waterproof. I had no problem at all. And then here, oh, I pulled the wrong thing out. Oh, I used the watercolor brushes I got on this. And it's just like a really small little painting. I did watercolor and then I did colored pencil. I did this for my grandpa because he paid for these art supplies. So I wanted to do something for him. And then last, there it is. I wanted to test out these little pads of paper, and I wanted to test out the fountain pen and the carbon fiber ink with Copic markers to see if the alcohol would mess with the ink, because it's waterproof, but that doesn't necessarily mean the alcohol will work fine with it. And I used the Stonehenge Warm White from the little packs of paper I got. Not only did it use Copics really well, it bled through on the side, but it didn't bleed through onto the next page. And there wasn't too much feathering or anything with the Copics. It didn't, I don't know, it didn't give me any problems. It didn't tear up or anything when I used Copic markers or anything like that. So I really enjoyed the paper. And then on top of it, I did the ink first and then Copic markers, and there was absolutely no feathering. There was no drag of the ink, like it didn't rehydrate it or anything like that. So yeah, this was just a stupid little doodle to test it out, but it turned out great. So overall, I am extremely happy with all my art supplies, and you will definitely be seeing more of it in the future. And that's all. Thanks. Bye.